Start. Madam, there is a strong feeling among the members and they pay a tribute to the Joint Select Committee, whose report is very instructive and contains dissenting opinions which I consider very valuable. But I have to make some observations because this bill raises vital issues of constitutional importance. This bill has created doubts in the public mind about the advisability of some of its provision, and I feel that I owe it to the rule of law and to the profession to which I belong and which I have served for more than 45 years, and to this parliament, that I should freely and frankly express my views and the doubts raised in the public mind so that the government may be in a position to remove those doubts. Madam, there is first the question of the determination of the age of Supreme Court judges. So far, no Supreme Court judge has raised any dispute about his age, and I have got a genuine belief that there shall never be a dispute with regard to the age of any Supreme Court judge. I feel that when future appointments are made, the government will take ample care to have sufficient proof of age. If they care, they can put down the age in the warrant of appointment, or they can have a declaration or even an agreement. The question then is, why put an unnecessary provision in this constitutional amendment? We know that our constitution has been the subject of study throughout the world among the jurists and international organizations, and they will get the impression that after so many years of independence, some questions have been raised about the age of the judges which required constitutional amendment. That will cast a reflection upon the dignity of the judiciary. If we find that there is only just a stray case or two in which the question of the age of the judge is involved, will it then be necessary to amend the constitution? When there is no case about a Supreme Court judge and no circumstance has arisen which calls for an amendment of the constitution, we must not do anything against public feeling which may even remotely cast a reflection upon the dignity of our judges. The provision regarding the determination of the age of High Court judges is important, and I believe that it deserves very careful consideration. Madam, I rise to commend to the House for consideration the Banking, Public Financial Institutions and Negotiable Instrument Law Amendment Bill 1998. The various banking laws were last amended in 1995. Since then, in the administration of these laws, a need for some further amendments has been experienced. This bill that is before the House seeks to meet only these limited felt needs. We are aware that there has occurred a sea change in the banking scene since the day our late Prime Minister Shrimati Indira Gandhi took the momentous decision to bring commercial banking in the fold of the public sector. There is a need to take stock of these developments, assess our perspective, requirements, and redraw our strategies for future growth. A comprehensive bill on banking may become necessary to achieve our objectives. However, such a bill, if considered necessary, would be taken up later. The present bill does not seek to achieve any major changes in the bank's operations. The statement of objects and reasons appended to the bill sets out the rationale for various provisions of the bill. I would therefore dwell only very briefly on some of the more important provisions. Madam, we have been strengthening the capital base of our nationalized banks during the last 3 years so that their debt equity ratios reach a level which is internationally acceptable. At present, the paid up capital of the nationalized banks is subject a ceiling of rupees 100 crores. With successive contributions, this ceiling has been reached in the case of some of the banks. On the other hand, with ever expanding deposit base, the need for enlarging their capital base persists. It is therefore proposed to revise the ceiling to rupees 500 crores. The bill also seeks to provide for uniformity in the tenure of all non-official directors and employees directors on the boards of State Bank Group of banks and financial institutions, and to limit their continuous membership on the board of directors in keeping with the principles enunciated by the Estimates Committee. The same principles would apply to the boards of nationalized banks, provisions for which would be incorporated in the nationalized banks management and miscellaneous provisions schemes. The Direct Tax Laws Amendment Act 97 provide for financial year as the uniform previous accounting year for all the excesses. Stop.